Enad Dad with us on Greensboro Sports Radio for the night, and a lot of football going on. A good family, the Jones family.
Yeah, great family.
I bet you kind of like meeting the Northwest Guilford people too, since you're out there now.
Yeah.
It's got to be a good thing for you.
Yeah, we haven't broke that story yet, but we can do it now.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be you're going to be at Northwest Guilford, assistant baseball coach
to Avery Booker
with Coach Booker. Yeah,
we were together at Greensboro College, 2020, and COVID ended our season, so we have unfinished business.
For Northwest, it's always get over the hump. They always do well.
Get them over the hump.
Got to get over that hump.
We'll get them over the hump.
And I bet if Bristol Carter was still eligible one more year, he'd love to be back there with you guys.
Yeah, that's the story is, how do you replace him?
Yeah.
And you can't,
But some games I watched them play, he did not get as involved in the certain stages of the game. They played very well at times without him out there.
Yeah,
look out for the Jackson kid. Watch out for the Jackson kid. It's Kim Jackson's son. Kim works for the Grasshoppers up in the press box. Her son's second baseman.
Yeah.
Does a very good job.
Well, Bryant was saying last week when we met that you cannot replace him. And I agree. I know him and his father. But I'm not going to accept that we can't go on and do what we need to do.
I mean, you can develop a new young center fielder any time to start building that kid up. I mean, Grayson Holland played baseball on the travel teams back when he was a kid.
Well, he said he was going to come out and just pitch, P.O.
Really?
Yeah. If you look at one of my Facebook posts, I say, when I was at Western Guilford 16, helping with the JV, I put a post of him, and I said, 2024, we're going to win a state championship together. So, but now we're at Northwest.
You never know.
So he might be playing golf, though.
Yeah, he will be playing golf and playing well, I'm sure. Let's push this next up here. NFL. Do the Panthers, is it time to push the Panthers panic button right now?
No, I think they're going to get better as time goes on. You could see they were out of sync or whatever, and a lot of the receiving core was hurt, like DJ Chark and some guys. But it's a very balanced offense, and I just think they're going to get better and better. Even if they lose this week, I'm not worried.
My advice to Coach Frank Reich and the offensive coordinator, this is just my own advice to them, run Chuba Hubbard more. Run him until he drops. Because he was running great, and Miles Sanders looked like he was not ready yet.
Yeah, like I said last week, I'm just not the biggest Miles Sanders guy. I liked him coming out, but it's just I think he's more of a running back by committee guy. Hubbard hits the hole.
And he runs better as the game goes on because he gets stronger. It's like an engine chugging
he's
along.
A sustaining runner.
Sure
and
is.
He was very good at, I think it was Oklahoma State, maybe.
Yeah.
I think Mingo's going to come along. Terrace Marshall, who was hurt with a back from LSU, he's in the third year. Hayden Hurst came through.
He did.
The tight end.
When he got the ball.
But they're always losing defensive backs, like the Horn guy.
J.C. Horn, never going to finish the season.
Yeah.
Looks like. It's terrible, man. I think I would probably not start him a game. I'd start him in the second half just to make sure you get to the first half and say, let's go put you out there in the second half so you can survive that much and get that done. Let me ask you this part. We mentioned that Miles Sanders was not ready, but I would say Brian Burns was.
He was very ready. Yeah.
That guy went.
Yeah.
And you don't want to lose that guy. I mean, he means so much to that team. I think I would come up with the money to keep him around.
I was very impressed with Atlanta, though, as I said.
Oh, yeah.
They have a tough team, Green Bay, coming in. We'll see. Second week, you kind of see where you're at a little bit more,
Thinking about this, too, Monday Night Football with the Jets, Gibson taking it back all the way on the walk-off punt return. Don't see that very often. Walk-off punt return win. I thought shades of 1978, Little Joe Washington for the Colts. Remember that back in the day?
Baltimore.
Yep, Baltimore Colts.
In the rain.
In the rain, he had a touchdown catch, a touchdown pass, and a kickoff return to win the game. Little Joe Washington of Oklahoma.
Him. Later a Redskin, Super Bowl champion.
Joe Washington and Washington.
Riggins and Washington.
But what about Little Joe and what about Monday Night Jets that win? That had to be one of the best, fantastic. I saw on the website, but Alcoa Can't Wait, the old Alcoa Can't Wait, fantastic finish.
I love that.
Oh, man.
I'm still devastated personally, just as an NFL fan, about Rodgers being hurt. It's very still surreal to me. I think it's bad for the game. But you never know. In 99, Kurt Warner came about, and can Zach Wilson come through now? We'll see.
What about the Jets without Rodgers? What will the record be now?
Was there 17 games?
Yeah, we talked about that last time. You were the one that established that fact, and let us all know for sure. Now, we cannot forget this. Remember, there are 17 games. It's an odd number of games.
I think they'll make the playoffs. I don't know how many games that'll take. I don't know. I
think it takes probably at least 11 wins in that division.
It's going to be a tough division. I think Mac Jones looked good, and Miami's good. And
Miami put up 36 points against the Chargers, 36-34.
I told you last week that I wasn't really feeling Buffalo.
Yeah.
But Buffalo could, split with you. I don't know.
What about the record with Rodgers? What would it have been?
What would it have been? 13-4.
13-4. Ambitious.
I could see that.
I could
see that. I think he comes back, though. He said he's going to come back.
I got the same philosophy for the Jets and for the Panthers. Panthers run Juba Hubbard with his tongue, and for the Jets run Dalvin Cook.
And
so you can't run no more. Just keep running those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Dalvin Cook's an established back. He wants the ball. He gets better as the game goes on. The more carries, the better he gets.
Yeah, I think you'll see a two-headed monster with Breece Hall and Cook. And do you play that defense, man? Hey, maybe they do 2,000 Baltimore Ravens.
Could be. Here's something for you, too. Carolina Panthers, their chaplain is a guy named Clint Darst. He's the coach chaplain for the team. I met him back on Monday afternoon. Mr. Darst, met him on Monday. He's actually the pastor over at the King's Crossing Church here on Benjamin Parkway. Nice. He's the coach. When the Panthers fly to town, he flies with the team on the team plane. They fly the chaplain with them. Interesting about Mr. Darst, Frank Reich, the Panthers coach, performed his marriage ceremony.
Wow.
For Clint Darst.
Yeah, I know.
Frank Reich is an ordained minister.
Yeah, he's a man. I did not know that he's a man of faith, along with Peterson and that whole Eagles team that won the Super Bowl a few years ago.
Frank Reich, ordained minister, and he performed Clint Darst's marriage ceremony. Interesting. People have not known this before. I share it here tonight. I've always shared it on the website, and some people didn't see it, but I shared it. But go get it now. Anyway, interesting about Frank Reich, he owns a house in Greensboro. His daughter lives in the house right now. He owns Frank Reich, when he retires, is going to live here.
Really?
It's already been established. He'll be living in Greensboro. Frank Reich, Panthers coach, will be living in Greensboro. He's got a house, got a nice home here now. His daughter lives in it currently for him until he retires. He will come here and live in Greensboro. Frank Reich will be at Greensboro. He loves
We'll get him in an interview.
I'm going to get that guy, Clint Darst, in here. I've decided.
Let's get him in here.
The chaplain, bring him in and interview him.
We need to get Lou Whitaker in here, former Tiger. I heard he lives in High Point.
Yep, he's a Roanoke man back in the old days, the younger days. Yeah. But I tell you what, Frank Reich, very much interested in the Greensboro area. Has a house here. He'll be living here. And Clint Darst is the co-chaplain of the Panthers team. He told me about going to Chicago. He went to the Bears game. They got back in town, I think, 3 a.m. Landed and he got to drive back to Greensboro, hour and a half drive. So that was a long night there for them. But when they go on the road, they take him and the other chaplain with them. Here's a good thing I thought about today. Here's one for Enad, since he's a baseball man. I thought about this morning as I was crawling out of the shower after the morning run. The thought came to me, thinking about the ordained minister. Back when the Greensboro Grasshoppers, they won their last championship in 2011. Had all those great players. Christian Yelich. Yeah. They had JT Realmuto. They had he wasn't there. They had Realmuto. They had Yelich. They had
lefty pitcher Conley.
Marcell Ozuna.
Conley
wasn't there then. Conley was there with Fernandez. Okay. But they had Marcell Ozuna. They had Christian Yelich. They had Isaac Galloway. They had a bunch of great. Had JT Realmuto, the catcher. All those guys on there. I thought that year, 2011, what the Panthers did, they had chapel every Sunday in the dugout. Had a chaplain come in. Had Andy Haynes, the skipper, the manager. He was right there in it. I used to interview him after chapel was the Sunday interview with Andy down in the dugout. But I'm thinking, with the Pittsburgh Pirates, Andy's with them right now. Andy Haynes, he's their hitting man.
Yes,
hitting coach.
Yeah,
head man is Derek Shelton, former Hornet catcher, 1993.
Wow.
Got both those combinations on the Pirate squad.
93, same first year as Jeter and Mike Buddy, Buddie.
Right out of Wake Forest.
Now the AD at West Point.
Yep, former Wake Forest man back in the day.
Former Greensboro Red for a year.
That's right. But back on, I think with the Pirates, if they were to make Andy Haynes their manager, and they bring in the Sunday chapels, I think they win the World Series. Because they won the championship. It's the only championship Greensboro's had in 30-some years, 2011. I think it became because of that Sunday chapel.
To build off of that, our late friend Ed Cobbler was the chaplain when Don Mattingly was there. Yeah. Did you know that?
I heard about that,
For the Hornets.
Yeah, because a lot of those Hornet players back in the day used to come to Hunter Hills Baptist Church. Yeah. They came to Hunter Hills, and Adrian Harris was there as a minister. Yep, came there then back in those days. Excellent job there. What about this week? Getting back to the Panthers again. Panthers Saints this week. Going to be going with David Carr versus David Carr instead of Derek Carr. What about the game this week? On Monday night on ESPN.
Division battle, Panthers at home, right?
Yes,
I think they're going to be tough. They got their feet wet. I'm going to say that they're going to win the game.
I sure hope they do.
I think they're going to win the game. Now that game traditionally is like 9-6, 13-10, something like that.
Close ones, battles.
Yeah,
real low scoring games.
Usually.
But you're going the Panthers this coming Monday. What do you think the score might be?
I'm going to say 17-14.
17-14 Panthers. Mm-hmm. And the kicker is Pinero. He's back with them again. Does a good job.
Former Bear.
Yep. And then the other kicker they had at one time, he was with the Giants now.
Gano, he's very good.
Graham Gano has been around for a long time.
He just got a 3-year contract.
There was a lot of former Panthers out there, too.
He let me down on my fantasy team this past week. I lost by a few points. All I needed was one field goal, and he missed 2 of them.
That was with the Giants, right?
Yeah. He against my Cowboys.
He missed a couple, and they missed a couple other things,
blocked.
too.
Yeah.
That brings up a good thing. Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons and company look hard to score on with that defense right now. What about these Cowboys?
Well, they have a great relationship with their defensive coordinator, the former head coach of Atlanta.
Dan Quinn?
Dan Quinn
is a killer.
I think, the first series of that Giants game, the Giants were moving the ball down on them. I mean, when you get a lead and you can build on any defense is going to be good. So,
do you leave the quarterback in the game in that situation?
No.
Like Daniel Jones, you leave him out there.
No,
they're getting slaughtered. Should they have taken him out?
They should have taken him out.
Yeah. Just a thought.
They should have taken him out.
Yep. Thinking about that. Something else this week. Deion Sanders. Do the primetime guys win again? Did they go 3-0? Got Colorado State at Colorado this week. Buffaloes.
Yes, they win.
They keep winning. It's not going to stop anytime soon.
No.
The train rolls on.
Probably the greatest story in many years.
College football, all football. It is. Yeah. It is a great thing. It kind of gives a boost
you have
to the
Alabama and this and that, and Georgia. That's good. LSU.
What about Colorado of all people?
Yeah. Cordell Stewart, Michael Westbrook.
Yeah, Cordell Stewart, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Rashawn the Bomb Salam.
Oh, Salam. And, boy, Cordell Stewart with the Steelers back in the day. Very interesting. What about this fact, though? You talked about a fresh part of the game. What about coming up Saturday, NC Central UCLA? What about that big game between the Eagles and the Bruins? NC Central UCLA of all crazy things.
Well, that's really cool that they're coming. They're coming here, right?
No, they're going there.
They're going there. Obviously they're going to fly them out. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm sorry about that. That's great for HBCU sports.
Sure is. And I understand Central's got a very good quarterback too.
Yeah, it's a very exciting.
And they got a good pitcher too. They have a good pitcher. He is still in the game. Devin Sweet picked up Oakland last week.
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. I saw him on Instagram as a picture in the A's jersey, which is cool. Our friend Bryant Roche. I call him Roche.
I call him Roach after John Roach.
He was texting me from the A&T game and telling me that Central looked really good and gave me a couple nugs. I'm still going to go with UCLA.
How much? What kind of score would you see? Is it big enough to say 63-0? They don't let them score?
Well, I was mentioning, hey, this is the school closest to us, and I don't want anybody upset with me, but maybe 50 points put up. I don't know.
50 points on them. Gotcha.
We'll see, though. There is David versus Goliath.
It is big, and it should be interesting. I think there's no line on the game because it's D1 versus D2, so no line on the game whatsoever.
Well, that's cool because a lot of schools, when we were at Winston-Salem State, we tried to get other D1s to play us, and they would not because they thought we might beat them, number one, but they didn't want to lose their
status.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a big thing. Big time thing.
So that's cool.
This week, kind of make it even more simpler, the top 5 teams in the NFL. Here's how I've got them listed. I just did this on my own, and I went back and looked at what some records were. I got Dallas number 1.
Okay.
49ers number 2.
Agree.
Philadelphia number 3.
Okay.
Then I bring in Jacksonville. Then I bring in Miami because a lot of the teams that with the bigger names lost this past week. What are your top 5 right now?
Dallas, Philadelphia, maybe Detroit in 5, maybe, or they're outside looking in.
Right.
I thought Miami was very solid. Plus, when they get Jalen Ramsey back, they're going to be even better.
The former Jets defensive back.
Yes, correct. I think the Cleveland Browns are up there.
Do you really? You think it's real? You don't think it's?
I think it's real, and I think they're going to dominate Pittsburgh defensively. I think that's Sunday night, maybe?
Maybe Sunday night, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be rough if Pittsburgh goes 0-2 to start the season. I think Mike Tomlin's been down that road many times before.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I do like Jacksonville a lot. I think they're up there. But, like I said last week, we got to see it again.
When you look at those standings right now, it's only been 1 week, but look at the teams in the standings, the teams that won and lost. Man, this is an interesting mix right now in the NFL.
It's a very has a fresh feel to it. Green Bay's solid. We'll see what they do at Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to sneak up on some people, though. I really do. They're going to be a tough out.
I think it's going to come down to the quarterback situation, how he responds when he's forced to throw the ball more, because they're able to run that ball in the Panthers very effectively. He didn't have to throw it quite as much. See what happens. You start going upfield.
You're 100% right. So if they get down, we're going to see where they're really at.
Yeah, because their quarterback, his name again is
Desmond Ridder from
Ridder. I wanted to call him Ridley, but that was another guy. That was a receiver.
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, that was a receiver.
Ridder from Cincinnati.
Yeah, going to be interesting there. Going to be interesting to see how far he can take them if they have to change who they might go with next. If they do need
Tyler
to make a change.
Heineke, our old friend from Carolina, and the Redskins is the backup.
Redskin, yeah, and the Redskins won their first game with Sam Howell quarterback.
Yeah, they did.
Not sure how long that's going to last either, but I hope he does okay. I hope he doesn't get injured because there's so many. That's one thing. We saw the Aaron Rodgers injury, but there wasn't a ton of injuries that first week as far as key names.
J.K. Dobbins out for the year.
Yep.
That was a big one. Horn, Rodgers, another Achilles tear. A couple of hamstrings here and there. But there's a lot of people returning, like Kelsey, Mark Andrews, you should see. Of these guys returning to the field that didn't play the first week.
Kelsey back this week?
I think so.
He wasn't gone long then. That's pretty
And Mark
good for
Andrews, the other great tight end from Baltimore.
Let me ask you this. You look at that game on Sunday night, the Cowboys and the Giants, and they flipped that around. Didn't they play the same game or play on that same field Monday night? Wasn't that the same field they played on with the Jets and Buffalo Bills? Interested in that same field? God, man, that field had to be taking a beating.
I didn't even think about that.
And they played that one game on Sunday night, and that pouring down rain, probably one of the worst rainstorms they said they'd ever seen, but Dallas still puts up 40 points. Then they play the same field on Monday night.
Yeah, I don't think that affected Rodgers' injury, but I know that a lot of people have gotten hurt on that particular field.
Right. Maybe kind of a curse. Curse to the Jets. But I still like to call them the J-E-T-S Jets.
Richard Todd.
Yes, sir. Boy, Alabama. Boy, back in the day.
That's right.
The best coach they ever had was a coach that people don't even know his name. Weeb Eubank.
Yes.
Sounds like a game show host name. Weeb Eubank for the show.
Like Wink Martindale.
Absolutely. Well, Enad kind of close us out tonight. Give us some guaranteed winners this week coming up. And not by point spreads, but by wins and losses. The key wins this week. Who are going to be the key winners in NFL this week, you think?
I think Detroit will win again. Seattle has their 2 tackles out. I think it'll be a tough game. You got a team that's on a winning high, and then Seattle got beat badly. I think Green Bay will beat Atlanta. I think they'll have just enough to get over the hump, and it'll fall into Ritter's hands, which I don't think he can do. I think Carolina will win.
So you think Love is way ahead of Ritter then?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting point there because those are 2 up-and-coming quarterbacks. I think Love may have the edge right now.
Yeah. We'll see how they do on the road, though.
Right.
I think Cleveland wins against Pittsburgh. I think their defense is really good. And
didn't hear much about Deshaun Watson that first game. Although they won big, but didn't hear his name pop up.
They didn't really need to throw.
Yeah, they had the running game going.
And I think Cincinnati bounces back against Baltimore.
Going to need it.
Yeah.
Do you think the situation with Aaron Rodgers leaving Green Bay might have turned out in Green Bay's advantage in their favor? It was about time for him to move on. It just kind of worked out.
Yeah, it was time.
It helped out Green Bay as far as him leaving like he did, and it doesn't hurt him because he's not going to be playing this year. He may not play again.
Yeah.
Do you think he comes back?
Yeah, he said he would on social media last night.
Said he is coming back. That's going to be a tough rehab.
He said he's going to rise from the ashes. He was very hyperbolic to my liking.
He is known for those ashes, those caves, that's for sure. He has been in those caves a few times over the years.
I think if you look back to the old days, the quarterback waited 3, 4, 5 years. Even look how long Danny White waited to take over for Staubach. I think this is a benefit the way it played out for Jordan Love.
So it's going to work out better for Jordan Love.
Yes, slow down.
Then it did for Don Mikowski then. Remember Don?
Well, he got knocked out.
There you go. The former Virginia Cavalier back in the day.
So
Eric Kramer, remember him? Detroit Lions back in the day. Lions. No. Mr. Kramer from NC State. Did pretty well there for briefly.
Wait, wasn't Kramer? No, I'm thinking of Tommy Kramer with the Vikings.
Tommy Kramer with the Vikings, yeah.
Are you thinking about Eric Hipple?
No, Eric Kramer, NC State quarterback for the Lions, had some big, highly successful days there. Nice success.
Was that in the 90s?
In the 90s.
Yeah, okay, I remember him.
Yep.
I remember him.
Well, there's been a lot of good football talk tonight on Greensboro Sports Radio. Football in Focus from the Tee Up Indoors on Battleground with Davis Troxler, our proprietor and owner. Enad Haddad, our main man.
Nice
getting it done again, as always. Hope you can do this again next week.
The best quarterback ever from NC State. People will say Phillip Rivers, but I got a second one, Roman Gabriel.
Very much so. Very good quarterback from NC State. And the best linebacker from NC State would be going to be our guy, Bill Cower. Without a doubt. Heck of a guy. He did quite well. That's it for this week, folks, on Greensboro Sports Radio. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Don Moore, our producer-engineer, who could not be with us, but he's back at home. Make sure this is going to work for you later on. Stay with us. Greensboro Sports Radio on Friday night. We got the game between Eastern Guilford and Northeast Guilford. We'll see you from Bill Bookout Stadium around 6:15 pregame. The kickoff is 7 p.m. Keep it on Greensboro Sports Radio and GreensboroSports.com.